Welcome to the Belfry for event number 4 on the 2016 American Golf Championship Series here on Sky Sports. This season, thousands of amateur players have competed across the UK and Ireland in free events covering a wide range of golfing opportunities, an initiative aimed at increasing participation and getting the whole family involved in the sport. Over the next hour though, anything could happen because this week it's all about the over 55s at the inaugural American Golf Seniors Championship as the pairs qualified from the regional events arrive here at the Belfry for the prestigious televised Grand Final. The American Golf Championship Series began at Gainsborough Golf Club in Lincolnshire for the first of 5 grand finals on this year's calendar, the Junior Championships, where 5 winners were crowned in the various event categories. The under-8s won by Sam McIntyre. In the over-8s, Sean Keeling was successful. The gross champion was Lachlan Reynolds, and in the girls' event, Elle Gibson took the trophy. But it was Roganstown player Kyle Honer who claimed the overall title. For the second event of the season, we flew to Highley Park Golf Club in Knutsford, where the big hitters were cleared by air traffic control for the Long Drive Championship, the official UK qualifier for the World Championships in the USA. In a dramatic day of knockout head-to-head contests, Matt Nicol claimed bragging rights over Sean McDowell in the American Golf Staff Contest, booking his ticket to Texas with a 366-yard drive. Anton Reeder roared his way to the over 45s title, sending the ball out to 340 yards to beat Dave Wilmore before joining wife Diane in the grandstand to celebrate an emotional win. In the under-45s division, it went down to the wire. Lucas Dornan's final ball 368-yard drive, though, was just good enough to beat Dave Evans' 364-yarder. And in the ladies' event, the superstar of UK long driving, Rebecca McGinley, smashed her way past Olivia Raybould to a second American Golf title and another shot at World Championship gold, bringing our total to 9 champions crowns so far this season. From Highley Park, the series arrived at the Belfry for the inaugural American Golf Ladies Championship, an event aiming to provide a huge boost to women and girls golf participation in the UK, and the response to the competition from the players was fantastic.
We must thank you American Golf for organising this event, which I think will raise the profile of women amateur golfer.
Have you managed to play at the Brabazon before?
And we probably never will again, so it's quite exciting.
Just very excited.
And have you played in front of the cameras before?
Of course not, no.
We're going to go and
give it a go.
Annihilate it, aren't we?
What would it mean to you guys if you managed to actually win the competition today?
Ooh, well, we would be unbearable, wouldn't we?
An amazing event showcased amateur ladies golf across a diverse range of ages and handicaps. The players were determined to enjoy their time on the iconic championship course, and that's exactly what they did, having fun while getting the job done and delivering some inspiring performances along the way. After 2 superb rounds of golf on the Brabazon, Sussex-based pairing Sarah Cooper-Olsen and Maggie Hopkins, with a little help from the golfing gods, emerged victorious to claim the first ever American Golf Ladies title. The action doesn't stop there though. Still to come, the Belfry will host the last 2 events of the series with the American Golf Seniors and 9-hole championships in a season that will eventually crown 15 champions from UK and Ireland amateur golf, whilst encouraging a whole host of players into the sport and out onto the course. The Seniors Championship has proved to be a very welcome addition to the calendar. Here's American Golf's Daniel Gathercole to tell us more.
The seniors event again is just adding to the collection of championships and making sure we appeal to everyone. We wanted a tournament that was specifically for the over 55s, and it's actually been our most popular event. Having a chat to all the different competitors, there's a lot more banter than there is in some of the other events. It's a bit more comedy. If you look at the number of golfers that play in the game, the majority of them that are playing most frequently are senior golfers. So for us, it's important to be where the action is, and people travel all over the place to play in senior tournaments, and We wanted to be a part of it, put on a free event, put on a great final at such an iconic venue where a lot of the guys have got really good memories of Ryder Cups, so they're loving it, absolutely loving it. It's a pairs event, better ball, which again just creates a bit more camaraderie and banter between the groups, which is good. Some of these guys have been friends for 30-40 years and been playing golf for 30-40 years, so it's nice to see them having a laugh, taking the mick occasionally and getting to know people they've never played with before as well. I think the seniors being probably the most avid golfers out there, I'm hoping they're going to tell as many people as possible. I think of my dad, for example, who's 74, he plays 6 times a week, and he tells me every single shot he plays every time I speak to him. So I'm hoping that people go away and they talk through every single hole and talk through every single experience that they've had here, and that's the key. We just want more people playing golf.
Here's how it all works at the inaugural American Golf Seniors Championship. 36 holes on this Brabazon course to crown the winners. The players play off 9/10 of their handicap, 4-ball, better ball, Stableford scoring. The final points tally decides which pair will claim the title, with countback to settle ties after 2 rounds. The On-Course Foundation, one of American Golf's charity partners, has an invited team in the draw, and although they are very much part of the tournament, they can't win the trophy. Right, time to get the action underway and hear from some of the pairs as they head to the first tee to create a bit more golfing history at the Belfry in this inaugural championships.
I think when you get to a certain age, as we are now, seniors, you think your days have gone. But apparently they haven't, enjoy it, and this is what you get. Superb.
Yeah, that's the main thing, enjoy it, I suppose, isn't it? You've got to go out there and enjoy it, whatever happens.
But you've got to have a bit of sense of humour, and I think that's what it's all about. Enjoying it and enjoy the day.
I mean, it's just a fantastic opportunity, I think, to come and play at the Belfry. It's the first time for me that I've hit a ball here, so that's you've got all the memories of Seve and Torrens and McGinley and all that, so we're just here to enjoy the weekend basically.
Just being here is a good enough win. Anything else is a bonus.
I've cut my holiday short in Lanzarote, so the wife and the grandkids are there now, so I had to come back, and I came back at 3 o'clock this morning.
Well, we were lucky because we were 4th in actual fact, and a pair in front of us dropped out, so we got a call about, 2 or 3 weeks ago, was it?
Yes, that's right. So that obviously means you're going to go on and win it now.
It's certainly the best email I've had this year, inviting me to an Alan to come and play.
Don Campbell, 58, 1 day younger, Style Golf Club.
So does that one day come in handy on the course?
Does it, Keith?
Not at all. Alan Beard, 72, from Pontywood in South Wales.
Roger Stade, 69, 66, sorry. That's what I'm going to shoot around here, 66.
Now there's also TV cameras out on the course. Have you guys ever played in front of TV cameras?
Nothing like this. No microphones.
I played lots of competitive scratch golf and in front of crowds, 100 people and that sort of thing. So
I've made myself look a fool so many times. Once more won't do any harm at all.
Look, it's a great weekend for us. If we win, it's a complete and utter bonus, so just go enjoy yourselves.
What are the tactics today?
Just keeping well away from each other.
I just noticed the jumper. Is that to outpsych the opposition today?
Partly, yeah, because they think I might play quite a bit, but no, that's not true. I actually played here soon after it was open, and I think it was probably 40 years ago. It's a bit different now than what it was then.
Have you played this course before?
I have, yes, 3 or 4 times, yes. A good test of golf, and it's won every time I've played.
Our plan today is go out there, play terrible, score well, and be about 4 points off the lead for tomorrow. That'll do us.
If he moans on the first hole, right, it's going to go straight down the middle.
We've got the yardage charts. We came down yesterday and had a look at the course and everything else, so we're going out there to give it a good go.
We've got the ladies here today as well. We've got the 9-hole, and we've had the juniors a couple of weeks ago. What are your thoughts on that whole message?
Golf's going through a rough time at the moment because it takes so long and people are not joining clubs, so the more it's publicised, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Some fantastic golfers with the women and the juniors, well, they put us to shame.
When you're playing golf, you can all go out as a family, which is a very good thing it did, and it teaches the kids commitment and how to control themselves, and as long as their dad does.
What would it mean if you managed to win?
It'd be fantastic. I can't believe we could ever have a chance to win this, but it'd be brilliant if we did, yeah.
You see a lot of bad days, but when you have good ones, they're there to cherish.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
We've got all the shots in the bag, it's just getting them out at the right time, is it?
What would it mean if you managed to win the tournament today?
Absolutely brilliant, if we can. Yeah. Got to go off the first tee first.
It was an overcast and blustery day that greeted the seniors for round one of the grand final, meaning the Brabazon would be bearing its legendary championship course teeth, and it certainly took a chunk out of a few of our teams. In 14th place on 20 points, the On-Course Foundation ambassadors Gary McNulty and Tam Edmondson certainly enjoyed their invite to play in the event. The points were hard to come by though, despite scoring 3 3-pointers with some excellent putting. But the fact that as a guest team they can't win the title might not get mentioned too often come the final round. Just 1 point more in 13th, Tony Smith played his jet lag card, having arrived in rock and roll style from Lanzarote at 3 AM to step onto the tee only hours later. The team took a while to warm up, but he and Mike Hatton finally managed to score on 8 of the back 9 in an attempt to avoid the wooden spoon, only to find that Gary and Tam weren't eligible for that honour. Get stirring, boys. Two teams shared 11th place on 28 points. The first pair, playing alongside Tony and Mike, were Noel Barlow and Tom Green. Course planner in hand, the Vale Royal Abbey boys plotted their way around the Brabazon to score on 16 holes and provided us with some entertaining golf along the way. And that left them in a position to attack in the final round. Sharing 11th were Pont Newid pair Roger Slade with the beard and Alan Beard without one. And it was Alan that produced highlight of the day at 12, his tee shot going into and then unfortunately out of the cup. A 3-point birdie though, and Alan's thumbs up, an apt reminder about how the competitors at the Seniors Championship were approaching the day, with the emphasis, quite rightly, on having a great time out there on the Brabazon. Also having fun in 10th place on 29 points were David Stevens and John Rich. The Shanklin and Sandown Golf Club maestros seemed untroubled by the autumnal conditions, donning the shorts and downgrading the high winds to nothing but an Isle of Wight breeze while coming in on 16 holes. The first team to make 30 points were Don Campbell and Keith Gordon, a pairing whose relative handicaps at 3 and 12 should lend themselves to classic dovetailing. It looked hard work at times, but dovetail they did, coming in on the first 17 holes with only one blob on the 18th. If they can turn the ones into twos and the twos into threes in the final round, they could have an outside chance of challenging for a top 5 finish. 8th place on a fabulous 32 points were another Pont Newid pair, Hannah Harris and Pauline Smith, with a reminder that the Seniors Championship is open to both men and women. They flew the flag for the ladies in some style, with 17 on the front 9, 15 on the back, and only failing to score on the 18th. Interestingly, their final round 1 total would have shared the lead in last week's inaugural Ladies' Championship, and in the seniors they were certainly in contention to create a sensational story in the final round. 7th place on 33 points belonged to Penn Golf Club's Nick Barrett and Paul Robbins. The 17 handicappers came in on every hole and produced 4 3-pointers on the way for a balanced 17 out and 16 back. A comprehensive performance which should put them in the frame in the final round, and a chance in fact for Nick to showcase his unique and very effective putting style later in the show. 6th place on 34 points went to Frank Munger and substitute player Simon Goldsby, who stood in for Frank's regular partner Chris Fieldhouse. 5 handicapper Simon showed off his superb short game, as the pair, having set themselves a modest target, set about demolishing that for a competitive total heading into the final round. While Frank, who at 80 years of age was the senior at this year's Seniors Grand Final, rolled back the years to play a valuable supporting role. That's it for part 1. Join us after the break to find out who made top 5 on the opening day at this grand final. Stay with us for more action from the American Golf Seniors Championship right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to the Belfry and highlights action from round 1 of the inaugural American Golf Seniors Championship. Before the break, we took a look at positions 14 up to 6. Time now to see which pairs made top 5 on the leaderboard. As it happened, 36 points was good enough for fifth as current Royal Vale Abbey captain Andrew Threlkeld and his partner, former captain Nigel Wells, set about enjoying their first ever round of golf on the Brabazon. Now, do you remember their pre-round interview where Andrew said play badly, score well and 4 points off the lead would do them? Well, Mystic Threlkeld strikes again, as you'll find out, apart from the fact that is that they actually played very well. Two teams shared third on 37 points. Welsh pairing David Cook and the incomparable Mal Price were the first team to make top three. And at 7, Mal proved the old adage that if you can't be good, be lucky. In addition to that shot, comment of the tournament, by the way, also went to Mal, who said, and please excuse the accent, "These greens are quick, Simon. Don't the Belfry know some of us have bus passes?" After which, he pretty much drained everything. David, though, not to be outdone, also came in on a good number of holes with no less than 3 cheeky chip-ins. This pair were great value with some great scoring and sure to deliver some great entertainment in the final round. Sharing third were a team with previous on the American Golf Championship Series, Martin Derrick and Andy Gilbert, who made the semi-finals of last year's 9-hole championship. Wearing their hearts on their sleeves as usual, they gave the impression of a team getting beaten up by the Brabazon. But they got a few blows in along the way for themselves. Initially gutted at leaving shots out on the course, they soon realised 37 points was more than competitive. 38 points gave the two Allens, Drew and Simpson, sole possession of second place. 6 3-pointers and just 1 blob meant a dream start for the pair that only made the grand final as first reserve from their qualifier. They couldn't quite believe they were here at the Belfry, and they channeled that into playing with no pressure. But they'll head into the final round as championship contenders, and as Sir Alex once famously said, that could mean the onset of squeaky bum time. The team that finished top of the pile in round 1, though, posted a fantastic 40 points in testing conditions. The West Sussex pairing of Ian Hendry and Martin Leo were in ebullient form. Martin showing real quality from the tee and some nice touches around the greens. While the demure and camera-shy Ian was another player that flew in from foreign climes to make the event, arriving at 12 AM from Spain. But the Midnight Cowboy shook off the journey to dovetail well with his teammate as they hightailed it into the lead, leaving the rest of the field to assemble a posse to chase them down in the final round. Confirmation then of the round 1 leaderboard. It's a 2-point cushion for Hendry and Leo heading into the last 18, but with better weather conditions for scoring forecast on day 2, the tournament is still wide open. It should be a good shootout in that top 5, but with the added possibility of one of the lower placed teams posting a number on a course they now have some experience on. Before we get to the final round action, though, it's time to hear from event sponsor Golf Now and market sales manager Chris Knight about their involvement with this championship.
We're very happy to be partnering with American Golf to sponsor the Seniors Championship. I think it is needed in golf at the minute, a partnership such as this. It gives us a chance to get people playing the sport, and that's one of our aims at Golf Now, to grow the game of golf. And it's great to be involved at a grassroots level and getting more and more people to participate in the sport of golf. The winners of the Seniors Championship get the opportunity to play the Le National Golf Club in France ahead of the 2018 Ryder Cup. I think they're a little nervous, obviously playing for such a big prize, but the level of competition will be high, no doubt, and I am looking forward to seeing who wins the event.
And with that in mind, let's get to the final round action. Conditions were indeed a little more forgiving on day 2, some rain to slow the greens and much calmer overhead in terms of the breeze. Early moves out on the course came from demon hole hitter Alan Beard, who was at it again at 12. But this time around, he and Roger Slade were letting a few too many slide by to really challenge the leaders, leaving them puzzled by the borrows and still sub 50 points through 12 holes. Shanklin and Sandown lads David Stevens and John Rich produced some good golf, including this cracker from John at 9. But they also found it tough to make meaningful headway on the scoreboard, 49 through 12 getting to be a popular mark. Next up, I did promise you a look at the unconventional but highly effective putting stroke of Nick Barrett, so here goes. Told you, although they just wouldn't drop for him in the final round, coming up short at 7 and then repeating the feat with the Texas wedge at 10. Cue partner Paul Robbins to show Nick how to get that one extra roll to the hole. 54 points through 12 holes, a much healthier score in terms of a challenge for top 10, if not better. Every round of tournament golf will usually produce a standout score, and after a humbling 30 points in round 1, which confined them to an early tee time, Keith Gordon and Don Campbell turned on the afterburners to score 26 points through the first 12 holes, with 2 3-pointers on the front 9 and a stunning 4-pointer at 10. And it could have been better if they'd managed to take more than just a single point at 6 and 12. That said, 56 points in total on the board with 6 holes to play, and they were certainly in the mix for a shot at the podium if they could keep the points flowing. It was always going to be a big ask to take the title, but it certainly looked like they had a shot at the best score for 18 holes in this inaugural tournament. The best of the rest mantle belonged to Andrew Threlkeld and Nigel Wells. A frustrating blob at 8 was the only backward step through their first 11 holes, and if they could produce the same form as round 1, a fabulous 20 points on the back 9, the opportunity was still there to post a clubhouse score to put pressure on the leading teams. 57 points then, with 7 to play, makes good reading for Andrew and Nigel, the two captains, to a certain extent, masters of their own destiny. Time now to hear from the main contenders as they prepare to head out onto the Brabazon for the final 18 and a shot at the inaugural American Golf Seniors Championship title. 40 points, you think will do it?
Yeah, well, I think that's the best we can get out of it. So, you know, if we can do that, we'd be really pleased. If it's not enough, well, fine, we've had a good go at it.
We played this course in very good conditions about 6 weeks back, and it was really tough.
But great fun.
Oh, great fun.
Oh,
great
fabulous.
fun, wouldn't have missed it.
Yesterday, we had great people to play with. It was a really good day.
First of all, gents, congratulations. What went well yesterday? Come on, let's be honest. When you came off the course, you were not in a great mood, but it was a good score.
No, we got 20 on the front. Thought there was more scoring on the back 9. 17 with 3 1-pointers. I finished 6-7-6, but pressure, thinking you need more than you're going to get. It happens.
The second one I wasn't in it, but there you go, that happens. I thought it'd be better today, and yeah, looking forward to it. I guess we need to, post a fairly good score, probably in the 40s, to be in the hunt today. So fingers crossed.
So yet again, you've enjoyed yourselves.
Oh, tremendous! Yeah. Great event.
And someone
really
said it's raining, but I haven't seen any rain yet.
Bit of liquid sunshine. Well done, boys. Have a good round today, and we'll see you later.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
What are your aims today?
Just to do the best we can to try and play steady and hopefully learn a few of the lessons yesterday. There's a few pieces of lake that I know about now that I didn't know about yesterday, so I kind of like to avoid them.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I'd take another 38 points, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a good score.
Well, it was in those conditions, yeah. It's probably a little bit easier today.
Well played so far, and we wish you the best of luck for the final round. We'll see you out there.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks very much, Simon.
Finally managed to get a decent putting round together, which most people won't ever believe, but, we dovetailed, and that was the main thing.
Yeah, well, I held 3 putts from about 40 foot, so that helped.
Just trying to get the glory again.
So you're up at the top, definitely in contention in this final day. What would it mean to win it?
Just to be champions would be fantastic. Yeah. And the first senior championship.
Gentlemen, very well played. Good luck in the final round, and we'll see you later.
Thank you, Simon.
The leaders and Martin Leo at the third. A couple of pars so far in this final round to add 4 points to their overall total. But I think they both know they're going to need a little better than par golf if they're going to get their hands on that trophy, and that's a fantastic approach at 3. Talking of approaches, this man, Alan Drew, has been just amazing from this sort of distance over the last couple of days, and this looks good as well. Oh, fabulous shot. Match play golf, he's going to get a tremendous read off Leo's putt. Not the best start for Derek and Gilbert, a couple of single pointers at the first 2 holes, but they followed that with a 3 and a 2. But again, they need to score and they need to get this round fired up quickly. So that's not quite what the doctor ordered, and Martin Derrick knows it. It's been a very sociable affair, the Seniors Championship, but time for the talking to stop for the moment. 3-point opportunity here for Martin Leo. Now watch this man's technique. He'll keep his head completely still and focused at the ground, and then he'll look up. And well worth a watch. Drains another one from distance. More importantly though, 3 points on the scorecard to go to 47, and no wonder they look happy. And let's hope Alan Drew was keeping a very close eye on that one. The par 4 fifth. Martin Derrick has tapped him for a single point, but Andy Gilbert has this for 2 still. No. And that makes 3 single pointers in the first 5 holes for Derrick and Gilbert, and that, I'm afraid, isn't going to cut the mustard today in this sort of company. And it's not happening either for their playing partners, the Welsh Wizards, Cook and Price. Another one just wanders away from the hole. Frustrating for David Cook, normally very good from that sort of distance. 42 points through 5 holes then for Cook and Price. And back to the third. You must never waste a good read, and Alan Drew's had one of the best you could ever have. This to go to 45. He's done it. Another great putt. The final round then is underway here at the Belfry. Join us for more action from the American Golf Seniors Championship after the break, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to the Belfry and final round coverage of the inaugural American Golf Seniors Championship. Let's get straight back to the action. The final group matching each other point for point until the 4th, which is where the tournament leaders made 4 points after a clonking putt by Martin Leo. Drew and Simpson having to settle for a 2-pointer, and then this for 1 point. And that's why you hear the players talking so much about dovetailing. A good round means that someone will step up on every hole to keep the score ticking over. Leo then trying to guard against a single pointer here. No, didn't come off the face right at all. Normally reliable from that sort of distance. The first stumble from our leaders then at hole number 5. They moved to 52 points. Well, it's 530 yards long, the par 5 17th, but it is a scoring opportunity still. Oh no, which Noel Barlow just can't quite take. 8 points then for Derrick and Gilbert through the first 6 holes. The laconic Andrew Gilbert will be taking this in his stride, but Martin Derrick won't be so happy. A hole-in-one would go down well here. Oh, miles away. Only joking, boys. Andy will have that for 4 points. Now, Threlkeld and Wells going along nicely. Can they keep finding the 2s and 3s? And if they can, I think they're going to put some pressure on with a decent clubhouse total today. Andrew moves the ball a little left to right, but he's controlled that well into the heart of the 12th green, and he'll have that for 4 points. This for an overall total of 70 points for the team of the moment. Campbell and Gordon going really well, but in Group 1, so out of the range of our cameras. A tap in then for 69 points with 1 to play. They will be the clubhouse leaders, and they will see off some challengers. Gilbert and Derrick desperately need something to drop. It wanders away again. They can't buy a putt for love nor money today. Andrew Threlkeld coming up and across this 12th green, but it's relatively straight. He can trust his line, but can he find the right pace? And he's going to go after this one. It's tracking well, and it's in. That's a brilliant putt from Threlkeld, and that means he and Wells move to 61 points through 12 holes. Good stuff. And they could be the main challengers in this final round to Hendry and Leo. Nick Barrett at 16 with this unique short game style. But you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Deadly accurate as usual from Nick. And another scoring chance. Now then, there's just been a slight slowing of momentum for our leaders over the last couple of holes. Martin Leo has shouldered the workload. He's come in on 5 out of 6. So Ian Hendry looking to contribute here at 7. This looks good, and it is good. Fine tee shot from him. Pauline Smith playing alongside Hannah Harris has sunk her fair share of putts on the Brabazon this week, and you wouldn't bet against her knocking this one in. Looking good. No, no. No justice for Harris and Smith at 16. No pressure on Martin Leo. His playing partner Ian Hendry is on the green. So what can the 5 handicapper from Golf at Goodwood do here? Well, what he's been doing all tournament. Brilliant. Martin Derrick has finished short with almost every putt that he's hit today. Coming up the hill at 9 then, he can afford to give this a wrap. Oh dear, Martin It's painful. 51 scored, 9 to play. Derek and Gilbert still off the pace. It's been an eclectic final round so far, some frustrating moments for the chasing pack, alongside some sublime golf shots like this one from Simon Goldsby at 16. Which Andrew Threlkeld was happy to match as he and Nigel Wells continued to build an impressive score as they headed towards the clubhouse. Already in the clubhouse after a fantastic round though, Keith Gordon and Don Campbell. They scored on every hole, including 2 4-pointers on the back nine at 10 and 15 for a 41-point round, and the clubhouse lead on 71 points. Goldsby unfortunately couldn't follow his brilliant approach with the short stick in hand, leaving he and a ponderous partner Frank Munger heads down a little on 63 points through 16. No such woes for Threlkeld and Wells though. Andrew tied it up and they marched purposefully to the 17th tee, a spring in their step and 68 points in the bank, needing just 4 points to surpass Campbell and Gordon as clubhouse leaders. For the Allens, Drew and Simpson, keeping pace with their playing partners and leaders Hendry and Leo was proving to be a tough ask. Even with some solid putting, both players just couldn't close the gap to the top. 55 through 9 holes, they were going to need something special on the back nine to pressure the leaders. And talk of the devil, after those solid tee shots at 7, it was Ian Hendry that stole the limelight with this belting birdie for 3 points, taking Martin Leo's putt out of the equation and stealing a cheeky 3-point lead over the nearest of the challengers. The On-Course Foundation, or OCF, is one of American Golf's charity partners, a charity that aims to help in the rehabilitation of injured servicemen and women through involvement with the sport of golf and the various industries that support it. In addition to several teams playing here at the Belfry during the championships, the OCF has also identified a number of work placement opportunities for some of its members in areas like the media, event management, television production and working on the American Golf Tour truck. Derek, Stuart and Brendan found themselves in key roles at the event, Derek working as part of the American Golf team.
My role here, I'm working on the tour truck. That's what I want to get into in the future. And my aspirations are to eventually is to get on tour on one of the tour trucks. I spent a little bit of time with TaylorMade at the Open this year and they pointed me in the right direction, so American Golf is the next step for me to get into that. So just building connections here this week and hopefully they can lead me in the right way.
Stuart joined the marketing team for the championships.
My role today is more or less shadowing the team who do the marketing and social media, etc. for American Golf, who are running the day-to-day with the seniors. I really love to get into the marketing side of life with the events. I enjoy hosting people, making people feel comfortable. Not long ago I finished working for the marketing department with Bentley. That went really, really well. I really enjoyed my time there. So that's the goal for me and On-Course Foundation, is to get me back into a job and supporting my family once again, as I used to.
And it was lights, camera, action for Brendan as part of the TV production crew.
I've got a work placement helping out as assistant producer. I was in the Royal Engineers for 8 years, served mostly out in Germany. Fortunately, I injured my back, ended up having a prolapsed disc, pressing on a nerve root, and I need a hip replacement. We weighed it up and I couldn't do my role in the army, so we had to sort of say, we're going to have to call it a day. So doing different work placements like this is really beneficial for me, and I get a lot out of it as well. So, and anything to do with golf would be sort of a dream job for me now. It's my passion.
When you first get injured, you think, I'm not going to be able to play golf. Then you go to these sort of events, go to On-Course Foundation, and you meet people in the same situation, some worse off than you, and it just gives you the motivation to believe I can actually do this. And I'm back playing golf now. I get around 18 holes walking. Some days I have to get in a buggy, but the majority of the time I'm back walking around the golf course.
But just tell us about On-Course Foundation and the good work that they do then.
They're really terrible. No, they're absolutely amazing. They pick you up when you're at your lowest point and they build you up. For a start, it's a bit of fun. It's getting you out again, and then they'll send you through a few qualifications and maybe put a tiniest little bit of pressure on you and things like that. And then before you know it, you're able to take on things that you didn't think were going to be achievable again. Without On-Course Foundation, I think I'd be, and as many lads as well, would be in a much worse place.
Back to the action now, and the teams had moved it on through the course. Alan Drew and Alan Simpson were playing some great golf, but the points were hard to come by. A solitary 3 at 12, the one positive in a sea of 1s and 2s on the back nine. 66 through 15 though, not out of it just yet. The joy and pain of championship golf. Derek and Gilbert continued to come up short of the mark as well. Martin predictably miffed at his pace-shy putting efforts, and even Andy's legendary sang-froid deserted him as the frustrations grew. 66 through 16 holes, the title was slipping away, but maybe a top 3 was still up for grabs. Every tournament has its characters, and the Seniors Championship had plenty. Cook and Price were in contention after a first round 37 points to share third place, but you could almost smell the tension as the wheels fell off in the final round. Not so much Cook and Price, more Cook and Priceless. But there was a cost. Just 60 points through 16 holes left the pair scrambling to make even a top 5 finish after their day one heroics. Leaders Leo and Hendry moved up a gear to champions in waiting as they continued to play some great golf, coming in on every hole with 4 2-pointers and a 3 on the card since the turn to keep them on course for the title. Now, back at Bognor Regis Golf Club, Ian Hendry's mate Parky spent the weeks leading up to this tournament telling Ian to save a shank for the camera. So, Parky, this one's for you. Enjoy. All joking aside though, good dovetailing will always underpin good scoring, and Martin and Ian just kept the points flowing in the final round with mostly error-free golf. So despite a damp moment or two for the pair, it was starting to look like nothing was going to rain on their parade. The concluding action from the American Golf Seniors Championship coming up after the break, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to the Belfry for the conclusion of the inaugural American Golf Seniors Championship. It's been a good day so far. 71 points was leading in the clubhouse for Don Campbell and Keith Gordon, but one team has played their way to the top of the leaderboard. Martin Leo and his partner Ian Hendry moving to 33 points through 15 holes for the day and 73 points for the tournament overall. Another glorious putt from Martin, and still thinking very clearly. He's going to mark that one. Let's get back to the action. Stand-in player Simon Goldsby to putt up the classic tears on this 18th green. Frank Munger, his partner, on the flag. These two out of the prizes, so this a putt for pride, and it's a cracking putt. Take a bow, Simon Goldsby. So 66 points, the best that they will be able to manage. They set off on a high this morning, Simpson and Drew, but they haven't quite kept pace with the leaders. Now, a little less loft here for Alan Simpson to get it back down onto the green quickly and let it run out. That's a really nice shot from him. Good touch from around the greens. To say it hasn't quite gone to plan for Cook and Price in the final round would be an understatement. Another one slides by, and they are definitely going to slip from their exalted third position at the end of the first round. 62 points then through 17 holes for the Welshman. The battle for second place for the runners-up spot here at the Belfry is between Threlkeld and Wells here at 18 and Drew and Simpson at 16. And the pair from Royal Vale Abbey have got 2 putts for 2 points. Threlkeld, quite right to go for that, but he's going to have to rely on Nigel Wells to come in at 18. Simpson for a 2-point reward for that lovely chip from just off the green. Gets it. A little bit of a shaky one. That kept his partner Alan Drew on his toes, but 68 points through 16 and a shot at second place still very much on. And for their playing partners Leo and Hendry, no pomp and circumstance. They've played so well that that putt seals the deal. Based on the scores out on course, 75 points is going to be good enough with 2 holes to play, and 17 and 18 is going to be a victory lap for Martin and Ian. And from one Martin to another, Martin Derrick at 17 doesn't want to leave this one short. In it goes, but I can tell you, when they look at the scorecard at the end of today, they're going to be kicking themselves. If they could have converted on just a few more holes, they would have been in the hunt. Goldsby for a single point to go to 66 after that terrific putt all the way up this 18th. Well rolled in, he and Frank Munger finish on a final score of 66. And now get to stand back and watch to see if Nigel Worls can make it to 72 for he and Andrew Threlkeld to set a clubhouse mark for the runners-up spot. Well holed, young man. So the current and the former Royal Vale Abbey captains, Andrew Threlkeld and Nigel Worls, set a score of 72 and say to Drew and Simpson, beat that. Alan Drew and Alan Simpson can beat that. I don't think countback will work in their favour for a par-par finish, so what they really need is birdie par and 5 points on these closing 2 holes. And Alan Drew has given them a birdie chance at 17. David Cook's 4th shot from just across the water at 18. Gets straight up onto that top tier, feeds it into the hole, and that is very nicely done. A big moment for the 2 Allens, Drew and Simpson. This to move to 71 points with 1 to play. No, feeding away from the hole almost as soon as he hit it. So it should be a 2-pointer at 17, but that will leave them needing a birdie down 18 for 2nd place. Well, it was a great chip from his partner at the last, but from the back of the 18th, Mal Price looking to finish in style, and that's tidy. A 2-pointer then for Mal Price and David Cook to finish on 64, their final score for 36 holes. Back to 17, and the victory lap for our champions wasn't going too well. With the pressure off, it was an uncharacteristic blob for Leo and Hendry. 80 points then was now beyond them, but the trophy was already in the bag. For Derek and Gilbert, it's been another fantastic year on the American Golf Championship Series. Semi-finalists in last year's 9-hole tournament and a 71-point final total at the inaugural Seniors event for a 5th place finish behind Campbell and Gordon on countback. It was Ian Hendry that in the end had the pleasure of tapping in the last putt at 18 to underline he and Martin Leo's championship victory with a final score of 78 points. And it was a tidy putt from Alan Simpson to finish, but it wasn't quite the back-to-back 38-pointers he and Alan Drew were looking for. In the end, a final round of 34 points meant they tied Threlkeld and Wells on 72 in 2nd, but just missed out on countback. It's a hearty congratulations then to our champions. Well played, Ian Hendry and Martin Leo. Confirmation of the final leaderboard then, it makes convincing reading for the champions. Hendry and Leo winning by a 6-point margin. Threlkeld and Wells take 2nd from Drew and Simpson, who finished just a single point ahead of Campbell and Gordon, whose 41-point final round was a standout performance here at the Belfry. Well done to all our finalists though, 2 great days of golf on a championship course for some wonderful memories. Ian Hendry and Martin Leo, the first names on the trophy. Let's hear from the winners.
Well, we've had a great time really. We played some good golf on a great golf course that's been in really good condition. We had a good evening last night with American Golf entertaining us, and yeah, we had a good time, and to be top of the pile for the old boys is great.
The hospitality and the organisation, never known anything like it. Fantastic. You know, there's a lot of lessons to be learned in how to treat people, so can't say highly enough of it.
And with the TV cameras, the banners, you guys have felt like professionals?
He loved it though. He had to show off in front of all the cameras. And I hold all the putts where there weren't any cameras. So you'll be seeing loads of him on the telly, nothing of me.
Yeah, for me it's been great, and we look forward to coming back to defend next year. So, you know, and if you're going to ask me what it means to win today, I said before, I don't know yet because we're not sure of the prize.
You're about to find out, lads. At the gala dinner, 3rd place went to Alan Drew and Alan Simpson. The 2nd place prize was presented to Andrew Threlkeld and Nigel Worls, and to our champions, a prestigious title, the trophy, and a trip to France to play around at the La National Golf Course ahead of the 2018 Ryder Cup, courtesy of Golf Now. A great performance then from the West Sussex duo, meaning that another little piece of history is added to the Belfry story. Ian Hendry and Martin Leo, the first names ever on the American Golf Seniors Championship Trophy. We've had 13 champions so far this season, leaving just one more pair to be crowned. Next up, the massively popular 9-hole championship, the final event on the 2016 American Golf Championship Series. Join us next time for some cracking 9-hole knockout match play from the Belfry here on Sky Sports. We'll see you then. For more information, go to americangolf.co.uk.